What's up, all you YouTubers out there? And all you TIs out there still struggling with all this animosity and strife. And this is Anthony Cruz coming to you from Santa Cruz. Well, Salinas. I'm from Santa Cruz, but I've been here for like 5 years and 6 years now, Salinas. And this is where the non-stop targeting attacks have. This is where they started for me, and this is where they don't stop. I learned a lot about myself and about this program, about the fucking fascist little punk ass Nazi fucking cocksuckers that are doing it. You know, I actually know the guy, and I know probably quite more than a few of these people, but I do know kind of when it started, and that's another story though. The thing is like something happened to me recently. I don't know if anyone out there has this, but I get the whole lick of it all. I get V2K all day. I hear this guy like narrating everything I do, like he's just play by play whatever I do. You know, if I'm in my room smoking a joint, well then that's what he's talking about. If I'm in the kitchen making something to eat, that's what he's talking about. If I'm getting in an argument with my roommate, or I'm going to the grocery store, this guy's play by play. He's just like dictating everything I'm doing. And it so happens that this kid and I met each other probably about over 20 years ago, when I used to go by the name of Davin, when I landed up in Davenport, shortly after I was 21 months, 22 or something. So that was 26 years ago. See, the thing is, what I was getting at is I have B2K all day, okay? Now, what was used to be just like a little bit of words like out of a sentence, and that's when I give a fuck to pay attention, you know what I mean? Let's just say, like, the song I'm listening to, or, the track's over, and there's a little bit of silence, between the next track. Well, sometimes I just catch a little bit, and it definitely would be words that, not all the time, but just, be words that have some relationship to what I'm doing at that present moment, okay? And that was like, and that was enough. I mean, that was enough to piss me off anyways, right? I knew about 3 years ago that they had access to what I was seeing because, when I went away in July to go try to put an end to this whole shit, I was going camping before that for like 10 days at a time, and they were there each time. They were like just over there, you know what I mean? And I would do my part, to instigate it. I'd be fucking gang stalkers are pussies, Nazi cocksuckers, and they're the only ones there. This is during the whole Corona thing, and I'm just taking off, to go to these spots, like these state national camping spots that are, closed, but there's a couple spots open, so I went, stayed there for 10 days, and I was looking for this one exit off the freeway 80 up north, past Colfax. I like to go prospecting for gold and stuff and minerals. Well, anyways, I belong to the associations, the Gold Prospectors Association of America, and so I had these maps, these directions, and so I couldn't find the spot I was looking for 2 times in a row, so I ended up just camping at this spot. I think it's called Indian Lake or something, but it's off the 80, just past like 36 miles by Colfax, and I was looking for Immigrant Gap, okay, and it's just past that spot. So, anyways, I just kept not driving far enough, and but the first 2 issues of camping I did, there was gang stalkers there both times. There was drones in the sky. Now, let me get back to what happens to me on a daily basis. The minute I wake up, I hear this guy talking about how I wake up at 6:30 or 7 every day, and it's just like he's waking up again, or like I get touched. Like whenever I sit down somewhere, it's not. They're slacking off a little bit. They're easy. I should say slacking off. I shouldn't say slacking off. I think that what they're doing is they're like sitting back and they're watching me right now because I'm just been calling them all kinds of fucking names and threatening them, telling them what I'm going to do to them and shit. And I've been writing letters. Fact of the matter is, about 4 years ago, I had enough, and I'd done some things and compiled some data to further validate what's going on, and that's when I went off and took off in the mountains, because I figured if anything would happen to me, then the people that, I set this information would. There's a whole, like, situation, strategic thing that I had going on, and I still do. But, I was over it, I was ready to fucking either die by the sword or kill them by my sword, But no one ever showed up. I mean, what? It's a whole nother story. Yes, they did show up, but it was in numbers, and they had guns, and fucking I ran for my life. But what I'm getting at tonight is, and I'll tell that story if I haven't already. I think I might have, but I'm not sure if I posted it or what happened. But I know I said it before on a recording just once. Maybe touch bases on it a couple other ones briefly, like I just did right now. Okay, well, about 2 months ago, right? I started hearing every fucking word this guy's saying, like every fucking word. The trippy thing about it is I'll be listening to my meditation, binaural beats, or I'll be listening to some reggae or whatever, rock and roll, Metallica. Not so much the heavy metal stuff, but I'm talking about the mellow stuff, just like the soothing kind of like binaural beats, kind of like with some solfeggio frequency in there or whatever, some Tibetan drums or what, and then I would hear the whole fucking sentence this guy's talking, and it hasn't stopped, hasn't stopped a bit, and so at this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. I've listened to everything I need to hear. And what was going on? Okay, let me just say this, right? In July, about 3 years ago, right? I took off, and like I said, to go camping and to kind of like draw these motherfuckers out, right? And I was ready, but I didn't know that they were going to come in the numbers they did, and the tactics that they took was just totally undermining, Well, anyways, like on the fourth night, I was he kept me up all night for like the fourth, it's like the fifth morning now, but the night of the fourth night there, I remember saying something to like the guy, and it was weird because like when I was camping, I heard the voices of the people that were watching me better than I have ever have been able to in the past. I don't know if it's because I was way out in the woods. And another thing I wanted to say is, it felt like to me, because there was like, where there's usually one or two drones in the sky, at least that I noticed, because they're kind of always close by me. There was like 8 or 9, okay? I'm telling you. And it felt like to me I was in like the middle of a petri dish, if you will, And everyone was just like, these people are looking at me through their drones, and they're just talking to, like, they're all networked, right? And they're like, and I'm shooting my gun at them, telling them, you fucking Nazi cocksuckers, who are you to take my fucking due process rights, my civil liberties? I dare you to come down here, motherfucker, and I'm breaking sticks, going, I'm gonna break your arm like this, and I'm totally just pissed off, right? And I'm just telling him, hey man, you fucking got it wrong. I'm not a bad dude, and you got it all fucked up. You know what I mean? And so I said something to him. I said, there's only 2 people that I think that would even do this to me, and for no reason. But the 2 evil people I think that would possibly do this would be this guy named Jacob Rodriguez, who's a planning. He works for the planning department in Santa Cruz, California, and my daughter's mother. She's been kind of bitter for God knows why, but yeah, our relationship was really short, like 6 months, but I had custody of my daughter, up to around that time, a little before that time, but till she was 7.5, but she's 15 now, so it's, anyways, I said, or Candace Jones, my baby's mother, and that's when I heard Candy, and I heard someone like on their end say Candy, and he said, you're Candy? And now I'm listening, I'm like, what the fuck, right? And so, like, there's this dialogue going on between this guy, and then I actually hear Candace Jones' voice, saying, like, she's called into some, like, I'm, like, visualizing it, because all I could hear is hear it, all I could do is hear it, right? But it sounds to me like she was called into a room, hey, and then this guy's like, this is the spearheading guy that's conducting this whole hate program towards me, without consent, without, the sanctioned. I know this to be true, because I'm not a bad dude. I know what the fuck I did in my life. And anyways, so then there's this dialogue, and he's all, who's Anthony Cruz? And she's like, why? And he's like, is he Isabella's father? And she's like, why? How'd you know? Why? And he's like, why would you put Isabella's father on this program? Yada, yada, yada. And she had told him a bunch of shit about me, like I was a piece of shit, and I didn't like to work, and all these things were just completely the opposite of me, And and so my daughter was pretty much taken from me, because the mother, it's been a nightmare, man. My daughter didn't want to go to her mom's. I already had a house, 3 bedrooms in Sacramento, and she was living in an SLE program with 35 other people, and 20 of them were like dudes. That situation, for whatever, I don't know how it happened, and neither do I. Only God knows. But my daughter was living with me to that point, 7.5 years. She was temporarily living with her grandmother because, Jacob Rodriguez, the city planner guy I told you about. Well, I was 2016. My apartment was red tagged by the city of Santa Cruz because of dilapidation in the staircase that goes upstairs, and it was through the gross neglect of the owner. So we had to be moved abruptly, 24-hour notice to move out of our apartment. and I didn't think that was sufficient. I think that was right. So when it's the owner's responsibility for the upkeep of a building, and then it is unfortunately red tagged by the city, it's the owner's responsibility to relocate you, okay, or offer you something in between time, and you have the right for first refusal. What that means is he offers you something, you don't like it, it's not adequate, you guys can't negotiate something that would work in the meantime until the situation gets fixed, and then he owes you a relocation costs and first, last, and deposit. Okay, well, I didn't want much. I just wanted a little fridge and microwave so I could kick my daughter, microwave some food and, you know what I mean? Have a little fridge and stuff. I said, is there a fridge in that room? Because, we had to go. And he's like, no. I'm like, well, then can you give me like $40 a day to eat? You know what I mean? He said, no, I'm just going to say I was going to evict you. So that's where I met Jacob Rodriguez. I thought he was really insensitive. And I wrote a letter to the, Santa Cruz Sentinel. It was in the newspaper, 2016. It says, man, forced to leave his home due to negligence on the owner's part or something like that. And he has, with a little baby girl, So, long or the short, that's where I met Jacob Rodriguez. Okay, and he just seemed a little insensitive. So I wrote a letter to his boss to address that. And well, it ended up being Candace, right? And I'm listening to these people, and it sounded like he talked to his boss about it, and he talked to he was like, oh yeah, it sounded to me like he was having, reflecting on the situation itself and how, like, he fucked up, And it sounds like, and I said, so it sounds like you guys are coming to terms with the fact that you guys fucked up, and I'm not even supposed to be in this program. You guys obviously, are coming to realization that you guys fucked up. Well, they kept me on ice there, and I went to sleep, and I didn't go to sleep, but I tried to lay down for a minute around like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I heard some walking. Like, listen, I'm 17 miles down the dirt road, dude. Like, you need a 4x4 to go down there, and I barely made it in my Dodge Durango. And let me just tell you that, like, I heard these people, and I know they commit voices and sounds and shit, right? Well, I told the guy in the morning, I said, hey, man, I don't know who walked in my property, on my site, but you better tell them what the fuck's up, dude. And they better make themselves known because, they're not welcome here, and I'm shooting at anything I hear, you know what I mean? Well, about an hour or two later, I fucking hear something across the creek, and and someone pops up with a fucking mask on. Like one of these fucking Smile Now Cry Later masks, but just a dead face one, Who the fuck are you, dude? You mean? You part of their fucking team, dude? You here to fucking stop me from leaving, or what the fuck? You mean? And he's just looking at me, not saying nothing. And I seen this chick, blonde hair, and so there's this dude, and she's like standing, I see her profile, and this dude's crouching just before her. And I see you two fuckers over there too, and I'm like started packing a bag, And I'm lying to you, I'm 17 miles in the dirt, down this dirt road where it ends, Like you couldn't hear me if I screamed for my life. That's all, I'm way up here in Tahoe National Forest on these BLM roads, like deep in the cuts, and I'm looking at this guy. I'm packing my backpack as I'm talking to him. Hey man, what the fuck you gonna do, man? And I take off. I took off running, right? And I fucking there's two ways to this creek. There's one that he's facing me at, and then where I came down, where it ends. But if you go back up before, it opens up, and then the road goes back down towards, Canopy. But up here, it opens up, and there's another, access to the creek without having to go through brush. So that's where, went back up, and it went around, and I heard he's coming towards you, and I fucking was looking around, and I seen 3 guys up there, and I seen one of them had a rifle. I'm like, no, this isn't happening, right? So I'm fucking hiding, and and literally, I'm not even exaggerating. There's like 20 motherfuckers, okay? In the first mile, I ran through the creek and I lost a shoe. So I just kicked the other one off, thinking, well, you know what? I could move faster with in socks with no shoes on. At least, well, my socks got shredded off within the next half mile, And I dropped my backpack because it was lighter to move with. And let me just say, okay, that this fucking asshole, right, that used to date my baby's mama, he knew right then and there that he was fucking up. You know what I mean? But he still maliciously fucking tried to kill me. Now, there was times where I was running, where I would get tired. And it was more so a couple days later after I ghosted him, but when I was coming back. But on the way back home to where my campsite was, the second day, because I slept a couple nights out there in the brush because I was so beat up. I had to rest. Anyways, this story's fucking crazy, dude. Just the fucking, I would say balls, but that's something that they don't have. You know what I mean? that they're very creative and deceptive and very diabolically fucking evil. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers get off on chasing motherfuckers in the woods like I'm an animal. Yeah, I'll show them an animal, all right. But I know this right now, and I'll tell you this much: they're all cowards. They all lack the fucking stones. And I'm standing for my country. I'm standing for myself. I'm standing for my people I love. And even if their asses up their head, I'm standing for fucking their freedoms too. They're just too stupid to know it. Not that I need any praises for them, because I ain't doing it for them. I'm just doing it for me and mine and everyone else that's innocent. Because that's my fucking job. I mean, as a fucking proud American, you know what I mean? God forbid I was a pussy like them. Then you'd have one more people on their team. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm privy to some information, and the thing is this guy doesn't know what I know, but he thinks I may know, but he doesn't know that I know. And I've told him some things to let him know that, hey man, I remember I remember the day that your dad pulled up. And listen, his dad works for like Lockheed Martin or something. You know what I mean? This shit's big, dude. Like multi. This is like 7 years long now. Torturing me methodically, touching my junk. Like, you know what I mean? If I look at some porn and I'm fucking, he starts touching my fucking pecker and starts rubbing my tip of my dick and my balls. It's just fucked up, dude. This guy's a faggot. You know what I mean? I've been challenging these fucktards for like 5 years now, hardcore. Ever since I had compiled enough data to feel like if I died, they'd be able to put the pieces together with the things I said. And I do believe this, okay? I do believe there's a certain amount of color of law that happened in this town where I live in, at least in this direct neighborhood. Reason being is because this. Around that time, okay, one night, before this in July, right, they kept me up 4 nights in a row, and they were just fucking hurting me, zapping me all night, like sharp pains, and fucking making it really uncomfortable. And, they would start into me about like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, so I'm thinking I'm home for the night, relaxed, stoned, about to fall asleep, and then boom, start getting hit, dude. And I'm like, this sucks, right? And I know science, I know that the effects that what non-ionizing pulse microwave radiated fucking energy does to the body. It shoots microscopic holes in your DNA, and your being. And they're focusing on my my digestive system, so because this is the MO, this is the mode of operandi. They're focusing on giving people cancers, What happens is when you have these holes in your DNA and this lack of sleep, if people don't know this, I'm just going to break it down. All right, this is a sleep deprivation, no-touch torture, behavior modification, slow kill program, okay? Now what that means is it's a behavior modification, meaning if they want to fucking modify your behavior, if they want to fucking study you, okay? And basically, it's a no-touch torture because you're getting tortured, but nobody's there that you can see who's inflicting the pain upon you, okay? The weapons they use are from a group of weapons called active denial, and they have that name for a reason, because these weapons aren't necessarily impossible to detect and prove that they're being used, but it would take some time to compile enough data to where, like, it's not an anomaly you're looking at. It's not 2 or 3 things I got fucking scanned or I got analyzed or frequency fucking the results on these things. It's a year, hardcore, diligently, reluctantly having to be here to put myself through it wherever I'm at, you know what I mean? To prove that wherever I go, there's something happening in the microwave radiated fucking frequencies around me go higher, and not to mention that though, it's like that coupled with this declaration that I put together after the 4th night keeping me awake in July. I wrote this declaration in the morning. It took about a couple hours, but it came together pretty quick. This isn't the one. This is just a draft I found, but you'll get the general idea. Basically, what I did was I woke up, and I do believe with all my heart, and I'm not alone with this, okay? You can understand that I moved in here at the same time the lady who owns the house did. And the fucking fucked up thing is this, listen. I wrote this declaration. I didn't give it to all the neighbors I wanted to because, you got to understand that 4 nights keeping me awake. I was in a lot of pain. They're still hitting me. And I just fucking handed it to the 4 in the front. I took off, right? But there was more to be handed to, okay? But let me just say this. I give it to my neighbor. Now, mind you, none of our neighbors in fucking 6 years or fucking whatever time it was in, it's 3 years ago. So, in the 4 years that we lived there, no one ever came over and introduced themselves. No one ever said hello to us. And it was very ominous. And it felt like, to me, it felt like, we were expected. And everyone knew it. That there was a certain, there were people moving in this house, and like everyone knew something about us or whatever the fuck. They just didn't say hello. Now, let me tell you this, okay? It's just weird, right? And the results I'm getting on all these scans I'm doing in the analysis is they're some of them are incorporated with the GPS, or you know what I mean? So they're giving you the GPS coordinates, or showing you in real time, if you do screen recording, how this directed energy weapon is positioned itself, and it's moving, and where it's coming from, relatively speaking. And it's coming from these houses all around me, from the ones across the street, from the ones in the back, from the ones on the side, okay? Now, it was like, you could simply tell through the data that the guy whose name is Joel Rodriguez, who used to live at 1868, which is right next door to ours, he was a detention officer, okay? So early on, I told him, I said, you know what I mean, like, it's my 4th month here or whatever. I said, hey, man, you need to stop using those directed energy weapons over here at us, dude. That's not fucking cool. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, dude, listen, I know you're a detention officer, and I know you guys got access to that kind of shit. You need to stop fucking zapping us, dude. I'm trying to tell you. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, fucking liar, you know what I mean? And I pointed my finger in his face and said, you're fucking liar, you know what I mean? And he never said another word to me again. He's gone now, right? He moved out. The ironic thing is like, within a year, everybody I sent that declaration to had moved out. And they're not just moved out, but we're talking moved out in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night. Like, there's no trucks, you didn't hear nothing. No, this house right now I'm living in is empty, okay? Because we just, we're renovating it. So to tell you, Irene, who owns the house, I'll tell you why. It's a sad story. But she bought this house. It's her house, and now we're going to sell it. It's completely empty, and we're in the process. It's on the market right now. 1873 Delancey Drive in Salinas, California. Okay, so what's going on here is like this. I take off, I was gone for 4 months. Didn't even talk to nobody from, anybody. I was where I was at in Los Banos. I decided to rebuild my truck, which, didn't do a good job on it, I guess, because it's not running. Anyways, the timing chain kept giving me problems, and by the time I got around to getting more money to fix it, the water was in the cylinder heads too long, and the engine seized. Long and the short, I was gone for 4 months, and when I finally called to talk to Irene, I found out she was in the hospital. So then I called her at the hospital, and she first thing she says is like, "Where are you at?" I said, "I'm over here where I'm at, fixing my truck." And she's like, "Are you home?" I said, "No, I just told you." And she's like, starts crying, says, "Can you please, Anthony, please go home, my house." She starts crying, because her son's a piece of shit. He'll fucking rally it out, no problem. Seeing it with my own eyes. Every time I came home in the last 6 years I lived here, every time it was progressively getting worse. But that's another story. So I asked her right then, I said, "Hey, do you think what I handed out, the declaration, had anything to do with you getting a heart attack?" And she's like, "I got 2 of them." I said, "Yeah." She's like, "I don't know, Anthony. I don't want to live there no more. Will you go home and help me fucking get my house together so I can sell it?" She's like, "I have some money now from this property that was sold from the family." I said, "Yeah, I'll get home." So I came home, and let me just say, where I was at for 4 months, never a night went by where I didn't have the drones in the sky or the voices, the skull fucking in my head. These motherfuckers were right there. You know what I mean? And in my bed every time, it seems like, because they're always touching my fucking, every time I'm laying down, they're trying to touch me, you know what I mean? And I'm just wondering if anyone else has that fucking shit going on, because it's fucking, it's just diabolically fucking rude, just punk ass mother. I take a shit, they're all pushing on my fucking butthole, and these guys are fucking punks, dude. I swear, where do they get off, right? The one thing I do relish in is that I know that none of them have the fucking stones to even fucking face me and tell me who the fuck they are and see what the fuck I do to them. That's how much I know what you mean. They're so tenacious with their shit, but I'm on the block waiting for fucking one of them to step off, and fucking out of their car, and nobody's getting out of their car. Let me know what the fuck's going on. Let me know that I'm the piece. They're the piece of shit I'm looking to fucking smash. Nobody, but they know where the fuck I am and exactly what I'm doing every time, every day. How's that for fucking a rigged fucking game, huh? Listen, I've been steady, dude, for like 4 years, if not more. Giving them fucking fingers when I think they're on the road. And like, I used to camp off the freeway. And because, living in Salinas, going to Santa Cruz, you're going to want to go back there the next day. So I just crash out, up the coast or what. And early on in the beginning, these motherfuckers would drive past me all night, but never pull into the parking lot or where I'm at, And if they did, they'd stay far enough back, But I would, reposition myself in the morning to where, like, I'm in a spot where, like, I see him coming down this hill, and I see him coming down this hill, and I'm in the parking lot right here. And I'll steady be shining my flashlight so they can see it good. For as far as they can see me, and with the finger in the air, shining a light, saying, "Fuck you, motherfuckers," you know what I mean? None of them pull over. None of them get out of their car. One time this guy tapped his brakes something like he was going to stop. I was like, come on then, motherfucker. You know what I mean? We'll see if you got what it takes, bitch. You know what I mean? But, yeah, sure. When there's 25 against 1, sure, no doubts we're going to run. Odds like that, you're just stupid. You know what I mean? I'm not an idiot, but again, like they're not trying to get. They all had rifles. They weren't trying to fucking. I'm not sure if they had. I didn't see any guns. I saw rifles. Is what I saw. So they're not trying to get that close. You know what I mean? And I kept hearing. So one guy's like, I got him in my crosshairs, and he's like, 1 shot, 1 kill, don't miss. And he's like 300,000. Who kills him? You know? And I'm just sitting there listening to shit, right? I'm like, these motherfuckers. And I was, I was concerned for my life. You know, I had a great concern. But you gotta understand, at this point, I'm so tired of these fucking fucktards doing what they do to me, you know, that I'm just ready to fucking run at them. If given the opportunity for a potential, like, you know, mission that would be, like, considered suicide, but I'm not gonna just run out any situation where they're, like, 50 yards away. Nah, if I was able to get close enough to them and, you know, they missed or what, I would do whatever I gotta do to fucking get them, you know what I mean? Because I've been calling them out. I mean, situations like this, okay? Be like 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, and this is redundancy. Like I was always traveling in the beginning, trying to figure it out, trying to get him out, you know, trying to figure it out, you know. Because here I'm just a fucking sitting duck at the house, you know. Like seriously, I would get here, I would get home, and I'd be able to have enough time to like wash my clothes and maybe have 2 nights there before it's just unbearable again. So they ran me out of my house where I live, you know, for like 6 years, you know, and they still do. Anyways. For instance, I'll get off the freeway, right? And there's a certain kind of like, you know, stereotypical kind of vehicles that, you know, I believe that they're in, you know, like some dark tint all the way, and sometimes some of them like all the way around, you know what I mean? Or this mirror kind of smoky tint in the front. You stand right in front of the car in the daylight, and you can't see inside as much, let alone at night. And it's, to me, I'm just thinking, well, these motherfuckers probably get a lot of fix-it tickets, but, I mean, the price to pay for anonymity, you know what I mean? Because they're too afraid to let you see what they look like, right? Because that's what, fuck, give me another fix-it ticket. Fuck it, I ain't not going to be seen as who I am doing this to me. That's how I think of it. That's how fucking scared they are. That, like, you know, they know exactly who you are, and they know exactly what they're doing, but they're too afraid to let you get a fucking glimpse of them, you know? Checks out. So, like, for instance, I'll be getting off the freeway, and I'll have to go back under the freeway because where I'm going is, you know, that way, and there'll be a car just parked on the other side of the freeway at that stop sign where I would come off on the opposite side where I stop and then I make a left to go under the, you know, the freeway. Well, there's one sitting just over there on the shoulder, you know, waiting. And this happened so many times that after a while I started getting out of my car and just jumping out going, are you waiting for me, motherfucker? Are you waiting for... And they just all just fucking... They all go. Never say nothing. Never look twice. You know what I mean? They just bounce. You know what I mean? So I'm talking shit, you know, because it just happened like, you know, 8 or 9 times. Well, before I actually finally got to the spot where I was going. And I'm talking shit, going, hey, man, you know I'm running up on you motherfuckers, and you ain't doing shit. Fucking, you just take off like you know what I mean? No one's fucking, you know? You guys are tenacious with your fucking torture, but no one really wants to get down, you know? All you guys are fucking pussies. I'm shooting my fucking gun at them, you fucking cowards, da-da-da-da-da. You know? And I'm telling them, you know, I'm telling them my social security number, who I am. I said, man, you guys got it wrong. I ain't never been in trouble for marijuana only, you know, yada, yada. You guys got fucked up, you know? There were some voices I didn't hear ever before that weekend. Like they sounded younger, like, you know, 10 or 11-year-old kids even, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, for all you who don't know what the fuck's up with me, look me up, dude. This is my information, dude. I ain't no criminal. You guys got it wrong, and yada, yada. Well, the reason I'm saying that is because, okay, I got Google Maps, you know what I mean? And all my trips are on that shit, you know what I mean? And I know for a fact, I also travel with a rear cam and a forward cam, and sometimes I even have one on the side window, and I also have my fucking Sony Snap Cybershot right there in my phone. And I mean, in the first year, I'd gotten so much fucking pictures, so many data, so much scans, so much, but it's like, you know, I still don't want to deal with these fuckers, dude. I just would rather smash them, you know, or fucking get an ass kicked and just call it a day. You feel me? Who wants to go to court? I'm not one of those motherfuckers, you know. Cause how many times this thing's gonna be big, right? Like it's not small. We all know how big it is, right? But we also know that if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything, like these cocksuckers did, right? And they're falling for fucking whatever these faggots tell them to believe, and they're pretty much undermining the great constitution in which this country was built upon. You know, just tearing at the fabric that makes this country so great, the foundation that makes this great country and the democracy we live with a beautiful place to be, you know. And I'm like screaming shit at them, like, who the fuck are you to think that you can take my God-given, unalienable rights to live free without oppression and to fucking be treated as an equal way? Well, if you think that you're that motherfucker, well then let me see you. Then let's do this fucking shit. You know what I mean? And that's why I was going out there, dude. But nobody fucking, they just want to torture me. They want to talk shit in my ear. They want to fucking touch me sexually. Fucking stupid fuckers, you know. And they want to talk shit, dude. But ain't no one willing to step. And where are these guys? Is this what generation are we in, man? Because there's some real pussy ass fucking punk shit, dude. I swear, I never fucking, even if I could, I wouldn't. And that's real. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, so I listened to this guy named, you know, the guy SIS, Brian Coffron. He talks about how he used to work at Amazon Security. He talks about how their demeanor is, you know, like they do think and they do treat this like it's a game, you know, like we're just expendable fucking things on a computer screen that don't really have a soul or don't even have feelings, and we're, you know, and they don't matter if we die to these people, you know, like they get off on hurting us. That's fucking sick. I couldn't even enjoy shit like that, you know what I mean? Whatever, teach his own. But now they're fucking with me, dude. And all right, I've heard enough from this guy to know what I need to do. And when I actually get the attention, like when I get out of the house and in front of some legal officials, you know, that's when I'm going to tell everything I know, and then that's when, you know, they're going to do whatever they got to do with that, and then that's when it's going to stop, I believe, if not before. Now I've told these guys, I told them 4 years ago, hey, in July, I said, it was coming on 4 years this July. I said, hey man, you know, check this out. Obviously, you guys fucked up and made a mistake, and you know, I'm willing though to work it out and let you guys fucking, you know, not worry about my fucking retaliation. But I need some restitution because you done fucked my life up for the most part. And I need, you know, some get right money, you know what I mean? So I told him, I said, I need 100 racks, you know, in a Dodge Durango, you know? Or maybe it was just 100 racks, you know what I mean? Dodge Durango and 50 racks, or, you know? So here we are 4 years later, or 3.5 years later, you know? I'm getting tortured the whole time. And I told him the other day, I said, man, the fucking, you know, I'm owed restitution. If this shit's legal, which it's not, I believe, because I'm about to do Freedom of Information Act and request from all the departments in 1 week, you know? And have them all reference each other. And it's going to be a Freedom of Information Act request for when I'm requesting information on me and any operations that have me in it, or any, if I'm in the fusion centers or whatever, as much information I could have on my name. Because I mean, if you look at my name of Anthony Ruben Cruz, born September 20th, 1974, you know, I was born in San Jose, California. I'm 48 years old, September 20th, like I said, 1974. There's nothing on me. I'm like a nobody. I'm like fucking invisible online, you know, and I like it that way. There's been some great effort to make it that way, you know what I mean? And these fucking fascist Nazi cocksuckers, you know what I mean? Like they, you know, it's like, who the fuck are they? You know, I'm into this little punk ass kid, and you know, the thing is like, what it is, let me tell you what it is. It's people that have access to this equipment, and they're from the private sector, and the government is financing some of this human experiment, social engineering experiment that's going on worldwide right now. This is a beta test. This is like, I would guess, this is for guessment. You mean like 700 million in every country, in every country around the world. My estimate is probably a 10% beta test right now. You know what I mean? And what I'm saying is this quantum computer, super intelligent, artificial intelligence, quantum computer, the sentient being, you know, there's this artificial intelligence, super computer, is building algorithms right now. You know, it's building algorithms, and based, if you know anything, how they have the ability to read your mind. Well, it's pattern recognition. You know, our brain synapses, EEGs. You know, for the most part, we all kind of like categorize things kind of relatively the same for the most part. And with these databases of what your brain registers things like words and colors and you know, the words, colors, and even you know, feelings and stuff like that. Your brain will let off this and let off this frequency, right? And through a compiling of people being exposed to that same emotion or feeling or thing that they're thinking about, they have a database that very well fucking they can pretty much match what you're feeling and seeing through the algorithm in these super quantum computers to pretty much decipher what it is you're seeing and hearing at any second of the day in real time. Okay. And I'm telling these cocksuckers, man, you guys are part of this fucking evil plan to like control every man, woman, and child on the face of this earth, and you need to pull your head out of your ass because it's not too late. And if you think that they're going to give you what they promised you, well, that's just something that was promised to them. Like these motherfuckers don't know what's happening, dude. But these blue blood, you know, RHO negative fucking Homo sapiens. See, I'm Homo sapien sapien. Okay, I have RH factor in my gene. I'm from the rhesus monkey gene, and 85% of the people on Earth have it. You know what I mean? But there's just other people. You know, there's blue blood. There's super wealthy, higher echelon people that you hardly even hear about on the news. That's how coveted these people are. But they're in the richest 13 families since the beginning of our recorded history. Okay. They have RHO negative blood. And scientifically, we don't know where that blood comes from. Like 85% of the people on Earth, they got this RH in their blood, which is the rhesus monkey gene. We know that we're some shoot off this monkey, you know, and this is where we can say that, hey, this is where our genes, we're from Earth because look at this, you know what I mean? These motherfuckers, you can't do that. It just pops up on Earth somewhere, you know, all of a sudden. The thing about these people is they're so it's hypothesized. Well, I believe it to be true though. It's hypothesized that these are the Nephilim, the Nephilim. But basically, I don't want to get too far deep into this, but if you ever looked into the Sumerian ancient scrolls, you know that they found in the Middle East. In the story that these 20,000 tablets, they've only deciphered like maybe 10% of them by now. But the things they talk about is this ancient, like, I guess, these group of people that were like master geneticists, you know, had something to do with making us from, you know, the rhesus monkey gene or the rhesus monkey, I mean. The Anunnakis from heaven in which they come to earth or whatever, from heaven to earth they come, and they're the creator lords that is talked about in the old Bible. They're known as the Elohim. See, monotheism was created in Christianity, right? And it was this guy named Constantinople or whatever, right? He wanted to have a religion to like conquer the name of, right? So Christianity was born. But I'm a Christian, and it doesn't matter what anyone is really to me. We're all, you know, on the search for our own, you know, divinity. And anyways, what I'm trying to get to is you know, the Old Testament in the Christian Bible, King James or whatever, you know, is the Hebrew Bible. And where they deceiving us is they took out the word Elohim, which clearly means Lord's plurally. It never is used in a single term, fashion. So in Elohim, it talks about these Elohim in the old, you know, Jewish Bible. We took out Elohim and put capital God in, so the narrative's totally been changed. Okay, like as far as like, okay, now there's just one God, right? That did these things, you know, like created man. And you know, the Genesis, it's really vague. You know, it's like so quick, boom, like all this happened. You know, God made the earth 7 days and made man, fashioned. And it's like, you know, in Garden of Eden and all this other stuff, right? And like, what? That happens so fast, you don't even get your head around it. It's like, what's going on, right? When you read the real story, from what I come to believe is the story that Christianity maybe stole parts of it to develop their monotheism stories. Cain and Abel, you know, that's Tiamat and Enlil. Well, anyways, I challenge, you know, you guys, if you're interested in it's one of the best scientific movies, I mean, stories you've ever, you know, heard. I think it's way better than Genesis, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's just, honest, there's a lot of things, that I pondered about. But what I'm saying is, what's running this, what's doing this to these people all around the earth is these blue blood people, these RHO negative super blood. They call it super blood. Let me tell you why. Because anybody can accept this blood, like A negative, B negative. You know what I mean? Any blood on Earth that that Homo sapiens have will accept the blood of the blue bloods, the ones that don't have the RH factor in their blood. But these negative RH factor, negative ORH factor people, negative RHO people, they can only accept blood from their people. I mean, that's just it. But their blood can be accepted by anybody on Earth that is a Homo sapien, because they're Homo sapiens. So, it is a trip. I know. It just sounds fucking ludicrous, I know. But trust and believe, you go down this rabbit hole and you're going to find some truth in what I'm saying. If not, as much as I know to be, it has been hard. But at the same time, it's been a rewarding, just, I don't know how rewarding it's been, really. I like to think it has been, but I don't know if that's even a true statement. I haven't been rewarded anything, really. But I've been okay. There's this passage in the Bible, right? It talks about, and this little story says, the brother strikes you in the cheek. He asks God, what should he do? And he's like, well, you turn your cheek so you slap the other cheek. Well, how many times do I got to do this? And God says, 70 times 70. And this is like, one of the old stories or what. And I used to think to myself, man, I'm on my Christian walk, and I try to do WWJD on most things that come my way, I hope. Sometimes, I'm not perfect, like I said. I fall and stumble, I sin, I lust, I get high, you know what I mean? Masturbate, whatever the fuck, watch porn. I mean, I gamble sometimes. None of these things are excessive. And next, it's just like, whatever. I don't sell drugs, I don't do drugs with people, I'm pothead, I'm loner, and I'm fucking depressed, I'm just trying to make it through this life with all this added strife to my life, you mean? And so what I'm saying is basically what I've been saying this whole time, that I'm of the opinion that the houses surrounding our houses, the 1877, the 1869, the one right across the street from 1869. And if you're looking at the house that I'm talking about from 1869, the one to the right of his too, the one right across the street from our house, so it's those three houses to the right. Once you look at the house across the street from ours, that house, and then two other houses to the right, okay? And the house on each side of us, and then the three houses in the back. These are just the people that I know that have a redundancy of data coming back where it looks like it's potentially, at times coming from these houses, and more like there have been more readings on some houses than others, like 1877 and the house across the street, like I said. So all these people moved out abruptly. Now the thing is, I live in a house with Irene, and her son was here, but we had to just recently pack up. Okay, and it's not a small venture to do that. Okay, it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? And we didn't see not one box leave any of those houses. Not one fucking box, not one van, not one nothing. And all of a sudden, new people were in there. You know what I mean? We didn't see new people moving in any furniture either. Just all of a sudden popping up. And the thing is they're slipping too, because Joel, who used to live there in 1868, he leaves one day and comes home in one of these other cars that keeps coming to this house at 1868. It's a Dodge Charger, And he drove one of these trucks that came over to this house too. They're all networked. They're all, part of this program. And these houses are probably just silos, They would just bring a bag of clothes like he would be doing, like if he went away to work or something. And so no one's trying to move any furniture in, because they're like, a bed and breakfast or whatever. They're doing their job and they're staying there. But, when it's time to go, they can disappear, like overnight kind of thing. And that's how come we didn't see nobody. I'm not alone with this hypothesis, okay? Irene Salas, who owns the house, she's 100 with it. Like, she believes the same thing. And let me tell you something about Irene. She's lived here for fucking since 2017. and she's only left the house maybe 50 times, and that's being generous. Okay, that's being generous. Okay, because she's she's also a target. Now, I didn't know Irene was a target before I met her. We only found out that we were targets to different procedures. Only I didn't, I knew her for like almost a year before I moved in, because I was helping her at this other house she had, and so when the shit started popping off over here, she didn't really say too much until later on. She started coming around and saying stuff. Well, I didn't really believe her in the beginning, but she was just followed. This lady's broken. I could imagine what it could very well do to a lot of people out there if they don't have a strong mind, or if they're just like already going through a lot in life itself. To have a group of people tenaciously trying to fucking make your life miserable isn't something easy to get through, let alone try to understand it and not lose your fucking mind in the process, right? So like, Irene's been targeted for over fucking 20 years, and she had 2 strokes last year. She thinks these guys did it. So there's attempted murder on her life. I've woken up in the middle of the night, my heart beating out of my chest, like why and no nightmare am I having, you know what I mean? I wake up to my heart beating out my chest, and I wake up and they know they're trying to fucking induce a heart attack on me, like scary, dude. Like, I run when I know how to run, and I do run hard. I can sprint. I don't run very far, but when I need to run, I run. I'm pretty agile for my age, okay, for example, when I thought I heard my vehicle start up one time, my vehicle was stolen. I looked out the door and I saw my top of my truck moving, and I ran after the truck down the street. Didn't catch it, but I ran so fucking hard that I couldn't even call the cops for like 20 minutes, just catching my breath. My heart was beating harder than that when I woke up in the morning a couple times, and I just knew these motherfuckers were trying to murder me in my sleep. Anyways, so the house was ready to be sold. Irene came home from the hospital, and she's had to go back in because she prematurely was let out. But this lady owns this house outright. There's no mortgage, and these people in our neighborhood literally made her fucking alienated us, tortured us, and fucking abused us, and maliciously and methodically and sadistically surveilled this house 24 hours, 7 days a week, and without remorse, just diabolically, just tenaciously, just relentlessly causing strife in my life. I have some things set aside to say something happens to me. This is done way back in July of 3.5 years ago, when I decided to take off. It's like this is my opinion, okay? And it's a pretty good one. If you guys don't know what fucking coward little punk ass bastards these guys are, and how they're walking on a fine line between love and hate, and getting caught and getting raped by fucking prison fucking inmates, you know what I mean? For the rest of their fucking sad, fucking pathetic life for doing what they've done. There's over 100 years worth of fucking capital crimes, violations to my civil liberties, violations to the Geneva Convention, violations to my human fucking due process rights, and the overall violation to my God-given rights to live life without oppression, to be treated as an equal. But we're talking when the color of law steps in, and these people are acting in the color of law, means they're there on the pretenses that it's illegal. It's legal for them to do what they're doing, and they'll go solicit help from like the people in the community, and they'll tell them, character defamate me, you know what I mean? And when this happens, the seriousness of the crime becomes just grave. Okay, what I mean is this: when these people that have a badge and swore to uphold their constitution from foreign and domestic terrorists are acting as terrorists themselves, and then coordinating and manipulating and deceiving the community to believe that they're working on an official business type situation. And when they get caught for this stuff, it's compounded because the seriousness of it, okay? It's cool if you want to go fucking smash somebody's head in, and you're a police officer. It's not cool, but I'm saying, you know, you're on duty, and people saw, and you get, you know, witnesses, and you get to tell your side of the story. But when these people are going around behind my back and methodically and deceptively defamating my character to unify their hate client or their hate group against me, well, that's just flat out fucking being a communist, fascist, fucking pig is what that is. Okay? And the reason this has happened, let me tell you this, because I was right, okay, about this guy, and I'll say his name soon come. But I heard him talking, you know, about how, like, I was listening for days, you know, before I even told him I could hear him. But when I heard enough, I started letting him know I could hear him. I would hear him talk shit to whoever's like he talking to, and I would stand up and say, "No, man, it ain't like that, you motherfucker. You better tell him how it is, dude. The only reason I ain't see my daughter is because you cocksuckers are fucking keeping me from her, and you know that's the last thing I want to do is fucking see my daughter and have her being tortured, because people online, they talk about it, you know, having their teenage kids tortured and shit, with them also being tortured. It's a nightmare. So, you know, he doesn't, just the things he would say to always, like, abuse my character, you know, and he knows more about me than any of these fuckers that he's talking to. Anyway, so if anything happens to me, I want you to know this, okay? All houses that surround this house have something to do with it. I guarantee you. Okay, that's all I am asking. Okay, so when you create a statement, okay, and it happens to be the last statement before you die, that statement that you made can very well be considered your affidavit, and be held as a statement in the court of law. Okay, so I'm making this statement clear and simple. Okay, those houses I mentioned earlier all had a role to play when the people that were living in those homes that moved out abruptly, they all had a role to play in the torturing and the abuse and the sadistic surveillance and, you know, and organized vehicular stalking and the street theater, and, you know, and even the assaults that happened to me on the daily and throughout each night. Okay, and now the people that reside in those homes, they all have something to do with it. Okay, just know that. And it's quite simply like this. This is how I feel that it can very easily be, this whole thing can just be brought down, because the people that are being lied to by fake ass cops that are acting in a just cause. But when these people are simply told this, now, hey, if you know anything about this being done right now, the surveillance, the monitoring, the attacks from directed energy weapons to this Anthony Cruz guy, or the following, or if you heard anything at all, okay, and you don't tell us right now, or before court's over, and before the deliberated sentence is given, and we later find out that you did know something, well, it says right there in the book, in Black's Law book, it says right there, then that person can very well be given the same deliberated sentence as the guilty party that orchestrated the whole thing. So in other words, you're not just an accomplice, but you're fucking, you know, just as guilty. Like when these motherfuckers get talking to them and say, hey, listen, do you know anything? This is your only opportunity to tell us, because if you don't tell us and the court's over, and through our investigation, if we find out that you did know something, well, we're going to press charges against you, and we're going to ask the judge sentences you to the same fucking amount of time that the person that told you that it was legal to do what you're doing got. Them motherfuckers will fucking be running each other over to fucking snitch on that motherfucker. I know that, because the hardest criminals in the world snitch on each other, and these pansy ass fucking cocksucking faggot motherfuckers aren't nothing like a criminal, or nothing like a fucking down for their fucking cause. They're all fucking together, holding hands, and that's how they get to fucking justify it. It's kumbaya rob, whatever they fucking sing, dude. Fucking, it's stupid. It's dumb, and I can't believe how fucking dumb these motherfuckers are to think that it's even legal. It's like when you start taking the rights and liberties away from your fellow American, then there's only a amount of time before your fucking rights and liberties are at stake. They're just too stupid to know that. And I keep trying to tell them, hey man, get your fucking head out your ass. You know what I mean? This is not what God wants. God doesn't want this. You know what I mean? This is not good. You know? And the thing is, I tell them too, I say, man, where do you get off killing people methodically, maliciously, and you ain't even tried to help them yet? Some people are just one step away from fucking getting their shit together, you know? My shit fell off because of red tag, you know, and whatever. My life after these fucking fascist Nazis got me in their crosshairs. I don't even know. I can't even believe I lost 8 years, you know, 7 years. I just can't. It's just unbelievable. And it ain't like we're trying to get to end this thing. You know, like for instance, you know, one time this guy zapped me and I was on the freeway. I was passing through Gilroy, and I felt the pain on my back. I was, oh motherfucker! I looked up. There's only one car behind me. I was like, oh my god, this is my night, right? This is what I've been waiting for. So I pull over in the slow lane and I let my foot off the gas. And I was going like 75, right? So I just let my foot off the gas and I'm coasting now. And this person's staying the exact amount of space behind me, and I'm going down. Now it's 65. Now it's 50. And the car's still like he took his foot off the gas too. We're both coasting, and he's steady the same distance behind me, and then he just takes off right on the side. And so I'm on his ass now, motherfucker, you know what I mean? And then he pulls over to the shoulder, right on the right side, in between the, you know. And then I pull over behind him, and he goes back on the freeway, and he fucking does this 2 more times, right? And I'm thinking he will pull over. We're gonna brawl. It's gonna be rad. You know, and I'm gonna snatch that little unit that he has, and I'm gonna have my evidence, right? No, he ended up getting away. Like I could have chased the motherfucker until my fucking gas ran out, but I mean, I was gonna go somewhere and park. You know what I mean? I was gonna crash out, and I was tired. And you know what, dude? That's when they always get me. Is when you're about to you had the day, and it's a sleep deprivation modification, behavior modification, no touch torture. You know what I mean? Fucking slow kill program. I mean, yeah, they're gonna get you when you sleep. The reason being is because. I forgot to mention that. It's because when you don't get proper sleep, your body doesn't produce melatonin. Okay, now melatonin is fundamentally it's necessity. It's a necessity for your body to have melatonin. Because if you don't have melatonin, your body won't be able to repair its DNA. Okay, but you only get melatonin developed in your body when you're in REM sleep, rapid eye movement. When you're in that moment of 6 minutes to 8 minutes or 15, some say. When you're sleeping 4 hours or 3 or 2 or 8 or whatever the fuck, but when you're in that REM, more healing gets done in that few minutes than the whole time you're sleeping, and that's when your body can heal itself. Well, through a redundancy of lacking of not allowing you to get your REM sleep, a person that's under this non-ionizing pulse microwave energy directed assault, your body won't have the ability to heal itself, and through this redundancy. Pretty soon, your body will forget how to make its proper DNA and will make this retarded DNA. Now, mind you, what I'm saying retarded DNA is because they're shooting at your pancreas, your liver, your colon, your bladder, your balls, your testicles, you know. Anything in your digestive system is what the frequencies that they practice using to affect you in a negative way to give you cancer so you die. This is it. This is microwave radiation is an accumulative thing. You know, it takes off the backside of your life. Okay, it makes you get older faster and makes your bones brittle. It microwaves you from the inside out. It shoots holes through your DNA, and if your body doesn't have what it needs to repair those microscopic holes that you've been bombarded with throughout the night or wherever you are to sleep, or however they get you. Well, then over time, your body's only going to know how to make this damaged DNA. And that damaged DNA may very well have damage to your pancreas or your kidneys or your bladder or your, like I said. And then it'll make this deformed DNA, okay? Because it forgot how to do what it was doing right. This is the science, okay? I'm not speaking scientifically, but this is generally what happens. And it starts with reproducing this damaged DNA, mutated DNA. And that mutation is cancer, okay? And so, people will be popping up. They're not all going to get people pancreas cancer. They're not going to colon cancer. But they have like 8 or 9 things to spread out, you know what I mean? So it doesn't, there's not going to be an alarm that all these people start coming in with testicular cancer. No. This, they mix it up. Some people will get pancreas cancer, some people will get colon cancer, some people will get liver cancer, some people will get, you know what I mean? And it'll look like you just got cancer, okay? Now, there are things that you can do to further validate that you're getting hit. Like you clip your fingernails off, there's ways they can test your hair follicles, your fingers, nails. So instead of cutting them off and throwing them away, cut them off, put them in a Ziploc bag and date the baggie, you know what I mean? And they'll be able to tell the difference, of the levels of radiated non-ionizing microwaves that you were affected with. There's other things too. I mean, it sucks to have to deal with everything that goes on being a target of V2K and directed energy weapon assault and street theater and surveillance and vehicular stalking and but to be tenacious enough to reduce scans every time or do these fucking analysis and compile your data and save it and covet it and well, I do believe that if you know how to describe what's going on and further validate that with whatever information that you can have, and it be from current and it discusses some of the things that they have the capabilities to do that very well mirror what you're talking about, then maybe you can have some time with with a potential investigation. I'm from the streets, you know what I mean? I'm not one to call cops on motherfuckers, It's like that's just a whole nother bag of fucking worms, you know what I mean? If I'm offering these guys a chance to just walk away, we'll call it both our sins, and I don't want to see them in my rearview mirror. I told them I don't want to fucking have them touch me no more, and I want to hear them in my fucking head, you know what I mean? And I told them, I'm not a fucking idiot, and then you guys ain't gonna fucking take me off the link. But can you fucking press mute and shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? Because I'm tired of hearing you guys talk about everything I do, you know what I mean? And man, I don't know, if it was the fact that recently I got a letter from the courts about my daughter and her mom, and they're not getting along, and the daughter got guardianship from her friend's parents. I'm not sure if it's because this job almost ended and he knows I'm coming across some money, but he started talking he's realizing that he fucked up and I'm not a bad person, and I caught him listening, you know what I mean? I'm not saying a whole lot, and I finally started saying some shit. Well, if you fucked up, fix it then, motherfucker, you know what I mean? Because if you don't, I'm going to do what I got to do, and I'd rather not do that, you know what I mean? I'd rather just this thing end as fast as possible. If that means them coming through my door with some shotguns and I run towards them with my knives, then let's go, motherfucker. I'm tired. I know I'll live again, and you know what I mean? Much rather it be a little bit more diplomacy and peaceful, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? You can't make a coward have courage, you can't make a person that knows he did wrong, but lacks the fucking conviction and balls to fucking stand up and say, hey, I'm gonna make it right. Okay, you can't do that. Some people would much rather continue to be wrong and take it all the way to their grave, just so they don't have to fucking take the chance on giving me means to further fucking my attack on them. That's what they're concerned about. Well, if we give them this money, and how are you gonna use it to fucking expose us? Well, this guy knows something about me, okay? I'm not going to toot my own horn, but, I don't really practice lying, okay? It's not... I tell one story, that's the story that I tell to everyone. It's never embellished, I used to lie a lot when I was a kid. I always had to remember what I fucking said, you know what I mean? I don't like that. Well, this guy knows I don't lie. He's been watching me for 7 fucking years. He knows I don't steal. He knows I don't fucking go around and cause mayhem or cause dismay or covet my friends' old ladies or try to come up on anybody, for that matter, in this life. I give more than I take, and this shit really don't turn me on, all that other shit, I mean, I'm sure I know a lot of thieves and, a lot of fucking people that are shady. Who doesn't, right? But it doesn't mean I gotta be, you know what I mean? No, I'm fucking... I'm a force to reckon with if it need be, but I don't even want anyone really to know that, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to live my fucking life, man. But I guess, these cocksuckers don't want to fucking do the right thing for me and my daughter, who this guy's having the revelation. Okay, now check this out. I heard him talk about my daughter's name a lot, right? He says, and he came to the realization that, hey, it isn't that I'm a piece of shit because my baby's mother said that, because he hasn't seen any of those things. I don't like to work, she said, but he's been working all the time, you know what I mean? And, just the things that he would say that my baby's mother would say about me, that he says he don't see any of those things that Candace said, would talk shit about me to him. And I think they broke up or they had a falling out or something, dude, right? Because he's having this revelation now that he fucked up between me and my daughter in the 8 years that he kept us apart, or 7 years. It's because our hearts are broken, And that's how come my daughter hasn't been happy, and that's how come I haven't been happy. And he's finally coming to realize that, and now he wants to make it right. Because people that work with in his organization, they're having trouble letting him do that, because of their ramifications potentially. Because how much I know and how close I am to getting him on my own accord. They're like, well, why do you think it's going to stop? He's going to change his mind or what? Because, motherfucker, it's been 7 years. Okay, this program, I think, is only supposed to go on for 5. And their hopes is, they'll get you to run into the woods and kill yourself, suicide or whatever, or get you in some kind of institution, or whether it be jail or hospital, and get you off the map, and you won't have any voice anyway. So, job well done. So I wrote this declaration. I'm just going to give you a little taste of it here, and and I don't suggest doing this unless you're ready for what's going to happen. Because what happened in my world was, well, quite simply, I had to leave my home for 4 months, and when I came back, and it never stopped while I was in 100 miles away on this 80-acre ranch. It never stopped even there. You know what I mean? Not one fucking day, not one night. Okay. But when I came, but like I said, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna have to make another video with this, but I seem to well, okay. Well, let me see the chief, please. I'm gonna just well, okay. So I'm also doing the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Okay, so you're allowed, given you're an American, allowed to ask these government facilities, government agencies, for information on whether or not you're, you got to be specific as possible. You should watch some YouTubes on how to actually make these requisitions. But once I find out that it's either sanctioned, and when it started being sanctioned, or it's not sanctioned, and I believe to be with all my heart that it maybe very well was sanctioned after the fact, but it definitely wasn't sanctioned in the beginning. Okay. So, this is just like a little bit of what's going on here. Oh yeah, so here we go. And okay, so then I go here. One second here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and make another video up to this one, but in a nutshell, I'm just going to say this. My name is Anthony Cruz. I live in California, Salinas, California, between Monterey and Santa Cruz. And if there's any TIs out there that are having a hard time, that live relatively close to me, and you want to come out here, support each other as far as just you have somewhere safe to be, and have some ideas. These motherfuckers are unified, and they're organized, and they got numbers on their technology, and they focus on people that are loners or don't have a lot going on for them, and they don't come from a big family with financial means to defend themselves. And basically, it's like shooting fish in a fucking barrel, but I ain't no fucking fish. I'm a shark. You know what I mean? I'm about to jump out that barrel and fucking snatch their fucking head up and eat it for lunch. Point is, if any of you guys feeling like that, and you just this is the spot. Okay, I talked to the lady of the house that lives here, owns it. We're willing to open it up. Well, we're in the middle of selling it, just so we can bounce some ideas off other people that are tired of the shit that they're fucking getting subjected to. And what needs to happen is we need to get organized. And there's things that I don't want to talk about now, but because I'm monitored, they can see it in my eyes, and they're watching everything I do, and they're listening to everything I say. So I'm not going to just give my game plan up. I'm going to disappear first. I'm working on this unit. I'm sure some of you might know what this one is. A ZVR drive right here. Tesla coil. Yeah, well, it makes it so they can't see this room and where I'm at in it. But that doesn't really matter when the guys still have access to what I look at. So, he he now then once I whiten out the room I'm in, and he's just steady off saying exactly where I'm at, like in what corner of the room I'm in and where I'm sitting, and you know what I mean? Because it's that doesn't stop that capability for the Neuralink and his ability to access that information via fucking computer brain interface system that they got going on. So yeah, I'm gonna make a video in a little bit, but just let this be known for the record, okay? 1868, 1877, the three houses, one directly across the street from mine, and the two to the right. The three houses in the back, the one directly across on the other side of the fence, and the two that sit on both sides of him. All these houses, I have data that have compiled. Now, like I said, the ones in the front and to the right have a decent amount more, but I got over 25 per house throughout a duration of time of 2 years or a year. I could say a year and a half. I'd say a year, but I didn't start doing it for after 6 months. It started, and I compiled it for like a year, and I kind of just hung around and I tried to figure something out, and then I just got tired of being here getting tortured. So I've been steady trying to fucking put myself in a position to where maybe they would be. I'd be so far in the woods when there would be no phones, no people, that maybe they'd have the courage to fucking act like a man instead of the pussy ass little motherfucking rodent that they are, and come get what I got for them, But they just want to give what they want to subject me to it, and they want to fucking, but they don't want to fucking put themselves in a position where they might break a nail or something, or get their tennis shoes dirty. These guys are bullies, but the worst kind of bullies, because at least bullies you come at you, and put their own hands on you, and fucking, you'll know who they are. You know what I mean? These guys are bitch ass, fucking pussy ass, motherfucking cyber bullies, dude. Because if they had to get out of fucking their house and put some shoes on and on the block on the street, you wouldn't even fucking, this wouldn't be happening. The fact is, you know what I mean? That's how come they're participating, because they believe they're not going to get caught. Well, man made the motherfucking thing, and man can break it. Trust me. And it doesn't need to be broken. What needs to happen, and what will happen, maybe through maybe through my efforts, maybe through someone else's, but what's going to happen is quite simply is this: somebody's going to get talked to, and whoever talks to them is going to have good reason to question them for whatever thing that they have good reason to question them for, whether it be suspected a person assaulting me, or whether it be, just a overall general fucking inquiry in the neighborhood as to like what people may know about certain things that I say are happening. And once they say, hey man, these are serious crimes, you're looking at, like, whoever's doing this is looking at hundreds of years, 100 years plus, for the molestation, for the fucking, all these violations of my civil liberties, and capital crimes, and if you know anything about it and you don't tell us now, then, like I said, you very well can get the same deliberate sentence. Well, he told me it was legal. They said it was all up and on the law. No, it's not. Tell us what you know. Free yourself. That's how fast it's gonna fucking stop. These fucking motherfuckers think that they can go around committing crimes like this, and they're all gonna keep their mouth shut when they get questioned. No, they're not. The first fucking motherfucker's gonna roll, and if not the first, trust and believe it's the second. But once word's out that the motherfucker rolled, trust and believe they're going to be running in over each other to fucking snitch each other out first. Because this is the real shit. I mean, this is what's happening. They're like to play like it's a fucking game. Well, this ain't no fucking game. People's lives are at stake here. You guys are messing with my life and causing me all kinds of strife, and you want to act like you are fucking convicted to do these things to me, and you're justified by you're sanctioned? No, you're not. You're not sanctioned. And they know it. This guy knows it. Like, he knows. He knew when he was chasing me through the woods 3.5 years ago, that he was wrong. And he's known since then, and he's wantingly and decided to consciously to continue his efforts to destroy me, to torture me, to molest me, to fucking make my life a living hell. And I'll give him some credit, but, like I said, until it's done, it ain't done. But he's been trying to get me out of the program, saying good things about me, or supportive things anyways, to help people, whoever he has to answer to or ask or requisition this possibility, or this movement to get me free, because he didn't follow protocol. See, he wanted to bang my baby's mother, and she told him I was a piece of shit. And I think he asked her, you know, anyone that's a piece of shit that deserves to be tortured or whatever, right? And she gave my name, even though, you know, she didn't tell him who I was or what. And then all of a sudden, my daughter's asking for me. Where's my dad? Years and years go by. I'm staying away from her because I don't want her to get tortured, you know? I'm trying to figure this thing out as fast as possible. And he's the one person that's fucking my baby's my baby's mother, my daughter's mother. And I don't care about that. It doesn't bother me nothing, dude. It's fucking dingbat. But he's maliciously and methodically and consciously and wantingly and deliberately chose to fucking continue his assault unjustifiably so. And I'm giving this fucking cat a way out, and he wants to fucking pussyfoot around it. You know what I mean? I said park a Durango in my fucking car, and there'd be an envelope, dude. The number I said, you know what I mean? And you just go your way, I go mine. And you know what I mean? Hopefully you will never let me see you until I'm ready, you know, and that'll be a few years, you know, at least. You know what I mean? But, so my daughter's at this house, and I know this house, the gentleman there has something to do with this program too. I mean, I'm you know, and the thing is like, you know, he's gonna either have to, you know, I'm gonna handle these subpoenas, you know, when these subpoenas start going out to these people, you know, you know, I'm not, it's just gonna say, you know, you're subpoenaed to court. I'm gonna tell you a whole lot what's going on, but, you know, I'm gonna reference it. Hey, you might have got a letter from this guy. You know, I sent you out the declarations and informing my neighbors of what's been going on to me and the lady at this house here. And I just want my neighbors to know, and if they know anything, they should tell me, because, you know, I'm about to fucking, you know, I'm about to do what I gotta do, and, you know, legally for diplomacy and the, you know, facade or whatever, you know, because if they don't get what they got coming, well then I'm gonna make sure they do. You know what I mean? If I'm ever questioning about it, I'm like, why would I do that? I took the fucker to court. You know what I mean? But yeah, things are fucking coming together. You know what I mean? Not as fast as I like them to, because if they did, then this house would be sold and I'd be papered out, and well, I wouldn't be having to wait on things so much as I am now, or quite possibly wouldn't probably give these guys so much opportunity to fucking save face. You know what I mean? I'm just tired. I miss my daughter. I want my life back. So I'm willing to fucking, hey, let's do this like that, or fucking you're gonna wish you did, motherfucker. You know what I mean? And it, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I've been just sending them blessings. Hey, may the universe bless you tenfold in retrospect, in reference, to the energy that you've shown me and directed my way. You know what I mean? May the universe bless you and yours tenfold for how you've treated me. You know what I mean? May it be reciprocated tenfold to you and everyone you love. That's my blessings. I've seen you blessings. Tenfold blessings that you've shown me. May you be blessed tenfold. It's hard. I call him so many names too all the time when I hear him talking too much. That ain't even my get down, dude. But I tell you, I never thought I was gonna feel that good. Just talk so much shit. I'm just used to get squabbing, you know, getting that shit over with. You know what I mean? Talk's cheap. But hey, when you got no other recourse and you hear him talking in your head all this shit all the time, I start talking. I don't shut up. I said, man, you don't like to fucking hear all these things about you? Well, go change your shoes then, motherfuckers. I know the shoes fits. The shoe fits, dog, and if it hurts, well, you better go check yourself, homeboy. Stop fucking talking about me all the time, and you won't have to fucking hear my tongue lashing. And yeah, I believe every word I'm saying to you about how I think of you, and that's who you are to me. Until otherwise, you know, you show yourself to be. You're a fascist, Nazi, cocksucking, traitorous, motherfucking piece of shit. And his whole crew is, dude. And these motherfuckers all conspiring to fucking come in my house and kill me and hurt me. Well, fucking bring it then, bitch. Line them up. I'm gonna get all you, but I guarantee you I'm gonna get the fucking first few, and you're gonna know. You know, it took that many to get this one American that you've been torturing for 7 fucking years. You know what I mean? I'm challenging this guy. I said, dude, just bring $50,000 to my house and show up. Knock at the door. I said, go around back, dude. You know, and if you want me to sign something saying we're just having fun, and I won't hit you when you get knocked down, I'll let you get back up. If you want some more, I'll give it to you, homeboy. If you want to stop right there and then fucking tap out, well then cool, I'll stop. I prefer that you didn't, but if that's, I promise you, that's how it would go down. I mean, that's about the best thing I got for you. You know what I mean? No knock at my door. No Durango in front of my driveway. So, you know, what am I left with? My daughter doesn't, she's, this guy, that's spearheading this thing, the baby's mother's ex-boyfriend or whatever the fuck. He's. I'm gonna leave it at that. Hey, listen, my name's Anthony Cruz, and I mean what I said about the TIs around here in this area. If you want to come out to Cali or what, just let me know. Send me an email or what. You know what I mean? And I'm sure we can work it out. What needs to happen is we got to support each other the way these cocksucker fucking lying fascist motherfuckers support each other's lies and deceit, but we're gonna support each other's truth, and like I said, I'll be putting more about this movement right here when I can get this finalize the selling of this house, and I have some paper to relocate myself out of here and somewhere else that's a little bit more conducive to what I need to have, and not be nobody really around me that much. I don't want to be so close to people in my neighborhood, I'd rather go out somewhere like, that offers a little bit more space. Anyways, just wanted to get that out there, We got these new neighbors now in all the houses that I mentioned to you earlier. Besides the one in Pennsylvania, the one from the backside, because I didn't send them a declaration. I'm sure if I had, they would have moved too, because quite simply it's this, right? Ignorance of the law doesn't make it okay? And if you don't know what the fuck's going on in your world and how these people are violating your capital, committing capital crimes, felonies, violating your civil liberties and your humanitarian rights, if you don't know what you have to stand up for and against people doing or taking from you or violating, then you don't know. And ignorance isn't going to be a good enough excuse for you to say I didn't know. I've had to learn all this shit, dude. It's not nothing I wanted to learn, but through self-preservation, I was forced to, or die, or live my life in such confusion that I probably would have put a bullet in my head. But that doesn't. I'd much rather read a bunch of shit and learn a bunch of shit I don't know until that time comes. Before that time comes, and I'm about caught up to the things that I'm privy to, that I have access to, and I know enough about this program to know that it's not chupacabra, and these aren't ghosts, and these are American people that have been bought and sold and manipulated to believe lies and to justify the torturing and violating your civil liberties on a global level. But let's just focus on America first before we save the rest of the earth. But I feel obligated because this shit started in my backyard, Silicon Valley's hop, skip, and a jump from here. And there's people on the other side of the earth that don't have the luxury of being 50 miles away from where this shit cracked off, And for all those people that are more than, a state away or in another country, I have to stand up to these fuckers. I have to say, fuck you, kiss my ass, you cocksucking Nazi bitch-ass traitor bitch motherfuckers. Because, what does that say if I don't? That I'm a coward-ass motherfucking punk that won't stand up to the tyranny. I owe it to my forefathers. I owe it to the life I live. I owe it to to all the things that I relish, and to have, like, freedom to choice, and freedom to live free and have privacy, you know what I mean? And due process laws, to have your day in court and be able to face your accuser, major fraction, major great breaches to the Geneva Convention, with the whole wantonly torturing me and sexually fucking touching my junk and methodically, wantonly, and maliciously. I mean, it's not good when you do that kind of shit. It's like, you're a psychopath. You're fucking, you're sadistic if you get off on shit like that. I'm good at hurting people, but I don't enjoy it. I just happen to be good at touching people up in ways that they would rather think that they could not be by me. But I'm a brawler, dude. I'm fucking fighting used to be fun for me, but you know what I mean? right reason. I'm sure, it could be one day too, but I'm not like a fighter, like an MMA or nothing, but I'm not afraid of fucking getting my ass kicked. I'm not afraid of kicking someone's ass for the right reason. And I know I'm standing in my righteousness. Like I said, I'm not perfect and I'm not righteous, but I'm standing in my righteousness. Meaning I know who I am and I know what I've done and I know I ain't a fucking guilty man of any of this stuff. And nothing I've done in this lifetime can fucking justify any of the torturing I've been through. Any of the fucking tactics that they've been wantingly done to me on a sadistically, fucking redundantly, tenaciously, systematically fucking doing and enjoying it. Well, you guarantee this to every single one of those cocksuckers that are listening to right now. You let me see who you are, motherfucker, and we'll see how much you enjoy it. We'll see if it's fun then. Bring your fucking best game, bitch. Because even though I'm fucking tortured for 7 years, I'm telling you, man. I know I could run through a good few of them before I get fucking my ass handed to me. Because I've already seen their level of conviction, you know what I mean? Which is non-existent, unless they're holding each other's hands, you know what I mean? And even then, I don't see them holding each other's hands. Maybe, when they're together watching me on some computer screen, I don't know. These guys are fucking, they're going to find out. And I know that they've been making a mockery of my town, I know once I go back there in Santa Cruz, it's not going to be long before, I get to know more than I don't know now. But I know enough now that I don't even want to hear them no more. Just want them to decide to do what they're going to do and just shut the fuck up. And, do it. You're going to kill me, kill me. You're going to fucking keep zapping me, keep zapping me. You're going to fucking make it right by me, then make it right by me. But just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? You're going to wish you didn't if you don't. I'll tell you that. Enough's enough, dude. Like, this guy knows there's no just cause for any of it. But yeah, he just, 1 minute he wants to help me get free. The next day he's fucking out to murder me and sadistically planned the infiltration of my home. Fucking whack. But like I said, even with that piece of shit, same thing all the way down the road. What I've seen, none of these fucks are down to fucking rucka it up. They're not down to knuckle up. They're not down to brawl. They're not down. There's a whole different level. These are a whole generation that are doing it. Of little boys that never got slapped. You know what I mean? Straight the fuck up. You know what I mean? And lots of them are cops, though. Lots of these guys are rookie cops or retired cops, from what I've gathered through my 7 years of analysis. And tell you, and I'm not biased by no means. I'm just very observant, and I'm not. It doesn't pay to be biased when you're trying to understand things for what they are. To be biased is just gonna make your job to decipher what the fuck's up harder when you got a point of view of it instead of just openly observing situations at hand. But color the law. Look at the law if you don't know it, and tell me if you want to send me a comment or what, or anything at all. Just go ahead, But I'm a real TI, and to say all that shit for the motherfuckers that think I'm not, or want to say anything to that effect. Anything negative you want to say, just go fuck off. Okay, I don't got time for that shit. All right. I told you my address. You want to say it? Come to my fucking address, okay? And we'll talk about it briefly. You know what I mean? But I'm real 100%. You know what I mean? I'd rather not be. I'd rather wake up and this was all those really long dream. But after waking up so many years in a row, when I was able to sleep and get a decent amount of sleep, where it's just nodding out of pure exhaustion for an hour or two, sometimes I will be able to get that good sleep. You know what I mean? So tired I do. Sometimes I wake up, I'm like, man, it'd be nice if I woke up and same fucking life, full of these niggas giving me strife, acting like they're fucking official. Well, all you guys keep your head up. Soon come, okay? Soon come. It's all gonna happen. Made it this far. Don't go giving up now. All right, this is Anthony Cruz coming to you from Salinas, California. Bless up, kings and queens. Till next time.